Herb. Herb is a plant. I mean, herbs are good for everything. Herb.
Welcome to Eugene Cannabis TV. You made the trip. You got DanK here. All of my lonesome today, no guests, but I got some interesting stories about the cannabis laws and what's going on in Oregon. But first, got some announcements. The main one I wanted to talk about is the Cannabis Science Club is coming up again, and that's on Tuesday, June 27th at between 6 and 9 p.m. And that's at the Whirled Pies, which we all know, formerly the Cosmic at 199 West 8th. That's 8th in Charlton. So, and today, and let's see, next week's subject is going to be cannabis food safety. So, those are free to the public and put on by OG Analytical and Oregon's Constant Grower. And great presentations, and I really appreciate these companies that are doing this for the public and doing it free. I mean, that's a good neighbor policy, or a good community, I guess you'd say. Anyway, and then this is really exciting. On July 15th, our friend Normal Bean is putting on a party. He's putting on a party for DanK. That's a party for me, actually. It says, we invite everyone and anyone who's ever been touched by the long-term efforts of DanK, or better known as Danford Cruiser. Thank you for so many years of service in the cannabis community. Contact me if you'd like to speak at this event. We're going to have potluck, live music, and Lifetime Achievement Award at this Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony. So, anyway, that's again, that's at July 15th, the 3825 River Road. So put that down in your calendar. That would have been the Saturday of our event if we were doing our Hemp Fest this year. And so it starts at 4 o'clock. So anyway, that's appreciate Normal Being. That's pretty nice. That's a party I definitely want to go to. And then the following weekend, we got Cannabis in Wonderland, which is the next big event up in Kinsey. That's I recommend that highly. I went to the Fan Fest there a few weeks ago, but it was cold and rainy. The music was great, but the weather was lousy. But that's anyway. There should be great weather up there for this the June 21st to the 23rd. Very reasonable. You can camp on site, and it's private property, so I recommend it highly. And go up and meet Tina, the lady that owns the venue, and a great bunch of people up there. So that's how I got for announcements. And now I want to talk about a story that I came across. This was in the Portland Mercury, titled "Let's Talk Policy. 2 bills could mean big changes," with a subtitle, "A loophole for medical growers might upend the market." This is written by Josh Jardine, dated June 7th. My columns with the fewest number of likes are ones that deal with cannabis policy. However, the latest sexy topics, like the wonkery surrounding the bills that pertain to how we produce, sell, and consume cannabis in Oregon, are of far greater importance than my hot take on the new OG Purple Ghost Rider Cookie Kush. With that in mind, let's talk about 2 bills in the current Oregon Legislature. Senate Bill 1057, which just became law, and House Bill 2198, which is under consideration as of this writing and will most likely pass. These bills could mean some big changes, good and bad. House Bill 2198's primary function, for example, would be to change the official name of the Oregon Liquor Control Commission to the Oregon Liquor and Cannabis Commission. SB 1057 specifies, among other things, that an Oregon Medical Marijuana Program cardholder can have 6 medical cannabis plants as permitted by OMMP rules, in addition to the 4 additional plants allowed under Measure 91, the 2014 ballot measure that legalized cannabis in the state. This is progress because some medical patients use FICO, full extract cannabis oil, daily, and growing what's needed to produce a year's supply is more than most can harvest from 6 plants. SB 1057 also allots certain OLCC licensed growers to tack on an additional 10% of their existing canopy square footage to produce cannabis for medical use, as long as they donate 75% of the crop for free. I know recreational growers would love to grow for medical patients, and this will allow them to do so at no cost to the patient. So far, so good. But then there's an amendment that allows select marijuana growers, if they meet certain requirements as laid out in House Bill 2198, to transfer up to 20 pounds of their crop to a recreational wholesaler or processor. Does that sound fair? It's not. Recreational growers pay staggering amount of fees to produce and sell cannabis solely within the recreational adult use marketplace. That's where the majority of sales occur in Oregon, and all taxes are collected from those consumers, as OMMP cardholders are exempt from the recreational sales tax, 17 to 20%, depending on location. As of October 2015, there are 48,699 registered OMMP growers. If only 25% of that number transferred those 20 pounds to the recreational market, that's more than 240,000 pounds of cannabis entering a marketplace that last year sold approximately 44,000 pounds of flower. More crop was used for edibles, extracts, and topicals, of course, but this is still a significant and potentially disruptive amount of product that could enter the marketplace from medical growers who are exempt from the rules, fees, and permits required by recreational growers. These medical growers aren't even required to register as a business. I've talked to some who think this provision may be a reaction by the legislature to the Cole Memorandum, the Obama-era document that left room for states to undertake a recreational cannabis program if they follow several basic rules. One being that cannabis can't leave the state in which it was produced. Now that Attorney Jeff Sessions is making noise about cracking down on state recreational programs, any actions taken by Oregon to demonstrate efforts to curb product leaving our borders must take the heat off, and allowing the surplus to be sold in this manner could be viewed as proactive by some. However, it may well have the exact opposite effect. I spoke with Megan Walsatter of Northeast Sandy's Pure Green Dispensary, which she owns with her husband Matt. Medical grows have lower overhead than recreational grows, she said, and they will be allowed to ignore many of the expensive regulations that OLCC licensees must follow, bringing their costs down even further. This will allow them to sell their product at a lower price than OLCC licensees who have played by the rules. Dispensaries would then sell this product at a lower price, reducing the taxes seen by the state and the local governments who have opted in to the local tax program, Walsatter continued, because medical growers are subject to substantially less scrutiny than OLCC licenses, and because the market will be flooded with inexpensive, medically grown product, it creates continuing conditions ripe for diversion into the legal market. This is a major concern for the state, and we will be exacerbating any existing issues in this area. Even if all this cheap weed does cut down illegal out-of-state sales, at what cost? Decimating the efforts of fee-paying recreational growers to save our adult use program is not a good plan. Let's hope the cure doesn't kill the patient. So that's the article, again written by Josh Jardine. Now I've got a couple of replies to that from some very, very knowledgeable people. The first one I wanted to read comes from Anthony Taylor, excuse me, he's with the Compassionate Oregon. He wrote this on the 9th of June. Josh Jardine's latest article entitled "A Loophole for Medical Growers Might Upend the Market" left a lot of people shaking their heads in disbelief. Mr. Jardine used data that was nearly 2 years old and obviously had not done his homework on these two bills. This is a great disservice to his readers and the people that have worked so hard on both bills, and the legislators that may read the story and actually mistake it for an accurate portrayal of what each bill really does. Mr. Jardine is correct that in October 2015 there were 48,699 medical growers. But today, nearly 2 years later, that number has dropped by 15,000 growers and is now at 33,764. But his theory that all those growers will be dumping hundreds of thousands of pounds into their market falls way short of the mark. Anyway, this number is a red herring. The real numbers, those numbers provided by the OHA in their dispensary sales report 2016, shows that only 660 growers transferred product in dispensaries in December of 2016, with a high of 1,712 growers in June of 2016. The average purchase by a dispensary was 1.6 pounds per transaction. This is a long way from the 240,000 pounds proposed in the article. But more importantly, what Mr. Jardine fails to mention in his article is the damage SB 1057 will do to patients and their growers if HB 2198 isn't passed. HB 2198 creates a new cannabis commission to put a new face on the OMMP that favors patients and provides a future for those Oregonians that use cannabis as medicine. The new commission will have to report back to the legislature on the status of the program, and it can impose legislation that addresses problems patients and growers have long had with the OHA. HB 2198 fixes the policy directive OHA just issued, saying GPS coordinates and tax lot IDs will no longer be accepted as an address for a grow site. This means patients cannot use their addresses either when renewing, and at some point the grower themselves will no longer be able to grow medical marijuana at their home. HB 2198 removes the limit of immature plants that SB 1057 put on OMMP and OMMP growers. This is not okay that OLCC licensees can have unlimited immatures and OMMP growers cannot. And yes, HB 21 does allow OMMP growers to be able to put some of their excess into the OLCC market, but it beats having it going someplace else. It is better that OMMP growers, the lost their only market, should be able to recoup some of their costs by taking care of patients by selling some into the OLCC market. So again, that's from Anthony Taylor, and great comments on that. And here in the second half, I'll be reading John Sager's response to the same article. I did want to mention that many thanks to the community television. We need to plug our host here, Community Television 29. Great organization. It's only $10 a year. I encourage people to join. We've got some equipment you can check out to shoot your own videos. You could even produce your own show at CTV 29. So it's $10 a year. It's a heck of a buy, and some great people. And when you're working with all volunteers, you know that's got to be a pretty good group. So I recommend it highly, and we appreciate the CTV 29 facilities and the entity. So ctv29.org is the website, and check it out. And of course, you can watch it on channel 29 on cable, and of course our show is on YouTube, which I suppose most people are aware of, at least the ones that are being able to watch it now, because before you had to have cable to be able to watch our show. So now you can watch it on YouTube. So I'll be back with another reply to this article. I'll be right back.
And now a message from the American Marijuana Growers Association.
Hi, I'm a farmer, and I work hard every day to grow high-quality marijuana, the biggest cash crop in these United States. I'd like to thank you for your support of U.S. marijuana policy. Because marijuana is illegal, I don't have to pay taxes. Even better, prohibition leads to artificially inflated prices, which means a better quality of life for me and my family, as long as I don't get caught. Just as importantly, your tax dollars support thousands of U.S. agents who work tirelessly to keep low-grade, foreign marijuana out of our country. So thank you, America. And remember, whether you're nauseated from chemotherapy or just in the mood for a nice cool buzz, choose the best pot in the world, American homegrown.
Welcome back to the second half of Eugene Cannabis TV, episode 649. You got DanK here, your host, and I've just read the story that was in the Portland Mercury titled Let's Talk Policy. 2 bills could mean big changes. And I read a rebuttal by Anthony Taylor with the Compassionate Oregon group, and this is from John Sajo. John Sajo is one of the authors of the original medical marijuana law. He also is behind the dispensary initiative, of course, to have our dispensaries, and been a long-time activist, very well spoken. So John Sajo's response is dated the 9th of June. He says, money trumps medicine again. When it comes to Oregon marijuana, some reporters and big OLCC producers are so busy throwing medical marijuana under the bus they can't even notice that their bus is heading off a cliff. This article in the Portland Mercury gets it so wrong that I must respond. I apologize in advance for the length of my rant, and I suggest reading the Mercury story first. The article complains about a provision of HB 2198 which has passed out of the Joint Marijuana Committee but hasn't made it out of the Oregon Legislature yet. The bill started out as an attempt to save medical marijuana. One section would allow medical growers to sell 20 pounds a year to OLCC wholesalers or producers. The author says that wouldn't be fair because recreational growers pay staggering amount of fees to produce and sell cannabis. Megan Walsetter of Northeast Sandy's Pure Green Dispensary is quoted as saying, medical grows have lower overhead than recreational grows, and they will be allowed to ignore many of the expensive regulations that OLCC licensees must follow, bringing their costs down even further. This will allow them to sell their products at a lower price than OLCC licensees who have played by the rules. Really? Let me get this straight. A medical grow, which is limited to 48 mature plants, is going to be able to produce marijuana cheaper than a recreational farm that can grow 48,000 plants? And there really is no limit on rec farms since an owner can obtain multiple licenses. The OLCC farm can sell every gram they produce for profit. The medical farm has to first supply all the patients they grow for. I give away over $50,000 worth of medicine to patients every year for free. We deliver flour, oil, and shatter free to patients. We often provide oil to cancer patients that we are not growing for free. The author of the article likes SB 1057 because it allows rec growers to add 10% to their canopy if they give 75% of that extra away to patients. Hey, all you OLCC growers out there, you don't need the legislature to pass a law giving away a bonus for helping poor patients that can't afford marijuana. You can do it just because it is the right thing to do. Soon enough, many OLCC producers will be sitting on inventory that is moving so slowly it is going to deteriorate. Hunter Neubauer, another OLCC producer afraid of medical growers threatening his market share, suggested excess marijuana be destroyed in his testimony to the Joint Committee. I suggest instead that OLCC growers donate medicine to patients who can't afford to buy it. Oregon now has a carefully tracked inventory of excess marijuana. If we do not ensure that every patient that could benefit gets all the medicine they need, then we have missed an opportunity to be compassionate and to allow the benefits of medical cannabis to be realized. The picture the article plants of medical growers being somehow exempt from expensive regulations is a big lie. Fake news, whatever you want to call it. SB 1057, which has already passed the legislature and become law, now requires medical growers to do seed-to-sale tracking and be subject to inspection by OLCC, just like rec growers. Here's a breakdown of some of the annual expenses a medical grower faces in my county. Conditional use permit, $3,400. Planning department medical grow inspection fee, $825. Other planning department fees. Increased OMMP grower fees, $1,600. Seed to sale tracking system fee to be determined. Seed to sale monthly software license, $500. I could go on, but you get the idea. Medical growers have not been exempted from expensive overregulation. The author's main point is that allowing medical growers to sell 20 pounds will overwhelm the market. He projects that 12,000 medical growers selling 20 pounds would total 240,000 pounds. The author says that is more than the 44,000 pounds sold in the regulated market last year. There are several problems with these projections. First, according to an OHA report on sales, OMMP Dispensary Sales Report 2016, dispensaries purchased 102,525 pounds of usable marijuana in 2016. I don't know where the author's 44,000 pound number comes from. Second, the same report details the number of medical growers selling to stores, which dropped from 1,712 in June to 660 in December. The numbers likely dropped as medical growers transitioned into OLCC licensing. 600 times 20 equals 12,000 pounds, a pretty small fraction of the OLCC market. It is a better projection. And the numbers may drop further. For a tiny medical farm, it looks like selling 20 pounds may not even cover the cost of being regulated to sell that 20 pounds. The legislature has enacted lots of new laws and rules that encourage people to seek OLCC license, but they have also allowed local governments to opt out or zone out. Lots of people growing for patients out of compassion are unwilling or unable to do with all the over-regulations, mounting expenses, and inspections by multiple agencies after dropping out of the program. The remaining medical growers who want in on the OLCC are prevented by this over-regulation. That is what is unfair. Oh, did I mention that the medical growers were here first, but now are being pushed out by the people who made a lot of campaign contributions and lobbied for rules to push out the competition. The article dabbles with the issue of oversupply, but begs the most important question. Isn't the entire OLCC system headed for oversupply? Not because of 600 medical growers, limited to 48 plants, but because of the 1,500 OLCC producers that can grow tens of thousands of plants. What if they each produce 1,000 pounds? What if next year there were 2,500 OLCC producers? A Tier 2 farm could do much better than 1,000 pounds anyway. How is oversupply not inevitable? Could someone explain to me why some OLCC growers are so worried about the remaining medical farms that are the source of medicine for thousands of patients, but they are not worried about the next 12 OLCC farms that get licensed, which may produce as much competition as all the tiny medical growers? What is going to happen when the OLCC tracking system shows that the system has 20 times more marijuana in inventory, carefully tracked of course, than state demand can absorb in a year? Dealing with the inevitable oversupply of marijuana in Oregon will be challenging. The solution should not be to sacrifice the patients. So once again, John Sajo spoke well and put it in perspective. He is advocating doing another initiative to try to fix the problems that we have now. Ordinarily, I would say yes. We are like in Oregon to have the referendum process to where we can draw up an initiative, get signatures, and even possibly become law. But the Oregon Legislature with Measure 91 has shown that route isn't real successful either, because the Oregon Legislature can tweak it any way they want. So the common thought has always been, well, the legislature will honor the voters. Well, no, they don't. My own senator, Senator Lee Byers, was quoted in the newspaper article saying, it is a statute after all, and statutes can be changed. And Measure 91 was changed. Originally, the Measure 91 called for no damage to the Oregon Oregon Medical Marijuana Program. Said it 3 times in the initiative that it would not affect the Oregon Medical Marijuana Program. The Oregon Legislature threw all that in the trash can and went forward with their own little trip, along with their fat-pocketed friends, the lobbyists and the deep-pocketed growers. surprise, surprise, they have the advantage. In the meantime, the little guy's getting run over. The medical program is not in good shape because people aren't renewing their cards. Speaking of which, all the years that we've had the program, I never felt that I was qualified for a card, so I never did get a card. I've been a caregiver for some time, which gave me the freedom that I was looking for, to be able to go to dispensaries, be able to buy dispensaries, be able to transport without worrying about being caught with possession, this kind of thing. But now that it's legal, most of that concern went away. However, I now have a medical condition that I believe will qualify me for a medical marijuana card, and so I believe my oncologist is actually going to sign the papers. And now that the vet fee is down to $20, depending on a veteran, it's affordable, perhaps. So I may be getting a card myself. And I recommend everybody out there to do get your card, because for one thing, you do have to buy your medicine. It's tax-free, whereas if you go to a recreational market, they're going to really gouge you. Anyway, that's where I'm at. So I'm kind of looking forward to having my own card for a change. That will be an interesting experience. Some more things. Oh, I have an article here. I won't have time today on this, but I wanted to give you a heads up. Next, I'll try to have this next week. This is by Mike Mullins of the Stony Girl Gardens, titled "Grain to Glass Tracking System for the OLCC." Points out some more problems with the OLCC. Mike Mullins is of the Stony Girl Gardens, great guy, big contributor to the Hemp Fest, and we definitely want to put the word out on what he had to say. So next show I'll try to bring that up, and we'll do that story. So standing open offer here. We're always looking for people to come on in and say hi. Come on, visit at the show. It's behind Sheldon High School, most Monday nights at 5:30. Send me an email, DanK@hotmail.com. Send me a note, and I'd like to have you come down and visit. Just watch the show, see how we do it, and if you want to be in the show, even better yet, but no obligation. So I'll be here next week, and I sure hope you will be. So be careful and be safe.